Conservative MP for Bolton West, Chris Green.
Thank you. It's incredible to follow the powerful words of Dame Margaret Hodge, but I too stand here proud as a British Catholic to stand in solidarity with you today. The Jewish contribution to British life has been immense, and no less so from the massive contribution of the people of Manchester, the Jewish community of Manchester, whether it's in business, the public sector, academia, and in politics. I think of Ken Wiseman all those years ago, who actually led the movement towards the Balfour Declaration, actually founding the State of Israel. That was in part led here from Manchester, and we should be immensely proud of that contribution. When thinking of the words, enough is enough, well, I find it extraordinary that we are here in this position today. You hear Ken Livingstone over the years say awkward things, but he's often dismissed as an individual on the fringe. But 7 years ago, I joined to observe an anti-austerity march in Plattfields Park, only a few miles away. And at that event, Aaron Porter, the then president of the NUS, was chased through the streets of Manchester by a gang of 150 chanting at him, "Tory Jew scum, Tory Jew scum." He was chased around the streets of Manchester by a gang of 150. That's when I realised this isn't some peripheral thing, this isn't on the edge. And since then, since 2011, we have seen so much more. Only gently touching upon it, the co-chairman of the Oxford University Labour Club had to stand down from his position due to anti-Semitism. The former NUS president, more recently, said the University of Birmingham is something of a Zionist outpost. A recent NUS survey questioning people had a section to fill in on your religious identity, and the NUS forgot to include Judaism as an option for a religion in Britain. It's extraordinary. They remembered to include agnosticism, but forgot Judaism. Now, this problem isn't coming from the working class. This isn't coming from the factory shop floor. This isn't coming from the dockers. This isn't coming from people at the call centre. The government has had to invest money, not in those groups. The government has had to invest money in our universities to cut down and reduce anti-Semitism. And that leads me to ask the question of why we are here right now. We can have a debate about the left wing or the right or the Blairite or the centrist in our modern politics. But we have to ask the question, if Liz Kendall had become leader of the Labour Party, would we be here right now?
No.
If Andy Burnham or Yvette Cooper became leader of the Labour Party, would we be here right now?
No.
We are here right now because the Labour membership not once but twice overwhelmingly elected Jeremy Corbyn to be the leader of the Labour Party.
Shame on him.
And just as they put him in his place, they can take him down. If the Labour members of Parliament cannot eject him because he is put in his place by the membership, then the Labour Party conference is only a week away. It is the responsibility, it's the duty of any Labour member, any Labour MP, any Labour councillor to persuade, to cajole, to urge Labour members to challenge Jeremy Corbyn and eject him. Chuka Umunna has said the Labour Party now is institutionally racist. The Jewish Chronicle did a survey, and 85% of British Jews believe Jeremy Corbyn is anti-Semitic. I'm a Conservative Member of Parliament, and just last year we had an election. Some people were campaigning on the doorstep saying, vote Labour, don't worry, Jeremy will never be Prime Minister. He came within 20,000 votes around the country of being able to form a coalition government and Jeremy Corbyn becoming Prime Minister. I know how fragile our politics are at the moment. We could have a general election this year. We could have a general election next year. And with the Conservatives mired in our difficulties, it is entirely believable that the leader of the Labour Party will become Prime Minister. And a decision has to be made. We are here today to say enough is enough. That has to mean something. That has to mean that if the Labour Party do not deal with Jeremy Corbyn, they have to take action now. My only idea, my best idea, and actually an idea rooted in its heart in Manchester, the Cooperative Party, Labour members often sent as a Labour and Cooperative candidates. They had an electoral pact since 1927. The cooperative movement has been at the heart of so many of Labour's greatest achievements. If the Labour Party and the Labour Party leadership will not change, we need a new party, and the cooperatives have 38 members in Parliament. They could take the front bench from the SNP, they could sit challenging the Tories from the front bench in the House of Commons. They could sit challenging the Labour leadership. The time to act is now. We must stand to fight against racism, to fight against anti-Semitism. We must stand in solidarity. Thank you.